What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit your subscribe button and hope you like this video. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 13, episode 3. So look, y'all, I've been trying to rock with y'all, and every week people are like, the episodes is born, and I'm like, give it a chance, y'all. It's only been week 1. Give it a chance. It's only been week 2. Okay, we're in week 3, and this episode was boring as hell. So we're gonna go on and get through it, so we can go on and get to Potomac. Okay, now. We get it, Portia. Your social activism has been awakened. It's in your genes. It's in your DNA. Your granddaddy was there on Bloody Sunday. Let's be clear, Portia. We knew your granddaddy was there on Bloody Sunday when you still didn't know that the Underground Railroad wasn't a real railroad, okay? I knew who your daddy was. I mean, your granddaddy was. I knew he was there. I knew he was there. Anyway, I'm still proud of you, Portia. I'm not mad. I'm joking, but I'm serious, but I'm joking, and that's great. Moving on, we had a scene. We're gonna get to Drew and her husband. It was only 2 interesting scenes in this episode. We're gonna go on and say that to the end. So, we had Latoya and we had Kenya hanging out. Latoya done talked Kenya into trying to take some pictures for a dating app. Kenya, you still married? And then she had the nerve to say she was gonna put the ring on her finger, keep the ring on her finger, for the pictures that you're going to put on a dating app. Then we had the ladies working out. We had Candy, Kenya, and Cynthia working out. Of course, they were talking about the COVID weight that they put on, and they got Candy's personal trainer, and they working out. They ain't really talk about too much of nothing at the table. I don't feel like nothing deep. I mean, they were talking about, Riley getting ready to go away to college and how Candy's getting ready for that. And they were talking about Cynthia's wedding and how she really wants to still have, her 250 people at her wedding, even though they're in the middle of COVID. They had the only interesting thing that really happened at that conversation was they had the nerve to be talking about prenups and stuff, and that daggone Kenya got the nerve to talk about something. I'll help you with your prenup, girl. You don't even have a prenup. How you gonna help somebody else with their prenup? So Cynthia was talking about whether her and Mike are gonna have a prenup and when they should go ahead and get it done. And Candy said, "Girl, don't wait till the day before the wedding because this is gonna be a problem. Go on and get it done now so you can get your feelings out the way. Since it can be some hard feelings involved with a prenup, and that's the reality of it. But it is what it is. And so they were just talking about that. It was a cool conversation, light. Then I think we met the new girl, Fallon. Now I don't know if she's just a friend of the show or a full member of the show, whatever, but Portia, Tanya, and Portia's sister went over her house to go swimming. Portia said she met her at some soiree or another, and she invited her to come over and told her she could bring some friends. So they had like a pool day, and they had the hookah, and they had drinks, and again, it was just a good girls' day. Portia was talking about the social justice, and they were talking about being in COVID with their significant others, and how it started off as a honeymoon and ended in divorce. And she did confirm that her and Dennis are not together. She said that, things started off really, really well with them at the beginning of COVID, but then they got into a really big argument, and it just, they're not together anymore. But I mean, they're still co-parenting, and I feel like they're still spending a lot of time together. We know he was with her when she was in Louisville, when she got arrested in Louisville. So, they're still spending time together, but they're just not together. And Portia said that right now she can't really focus on it, that she has to, compartmentalize all of the different aspects of her life, and she just cannot focus on Dennis right now. She said that she just doesn't like who she is right now in the relationship. She just doesn't like who she is. So yeah. Now that's pretty much that. Now let's get to Drew and her husband. Listen. So the beginning of the episode, we see Drew and her husband getting ready for praise and worship with her mama. Now her mama said, well, first of all, the kids are sitting there making pancakes and stuff. Now, Drew, Who eating them pancakes, Drew? Those pancakes look like they was still white. I bet you they was all mushy in the middle, like just doughy. Those pancakes weren't done. I don't know. Listen, who eat their pancakes like that? I know my pancakes got. Who eat them pancakes like that? Anyway, moving on. But the son wanted to stand where the daughter was, and she didn't think it was safe, and the husband sort of overrode her and was like, it's not a big deal. They could stand up there together. Now, that may not seem like a big deal, but when you are parenting, there are little things you can do to just support what your spouse is doing. She had already said that she didn't think it was a good idea, and she didn't think it was safe, and he contradicted her in front of the kids. And again, I feel like that probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal if the rest of the episode didn't go the way it went. But anyway, so they're getting ready for, her mama is practicing her sermon, and she said that the subject of her sermon is going to be, sometimes you got to bridle your tongue. And she looked at her son-in-law when she said it, and he was like, well, why are you looking at me? Now, Drew, what you should have done is let your mama explain why she looked at him. You wanted to insert yourself because what you didn't want is for the conversation, is for the argument to escalate or become an argument. But it didn't matter because your mama was sending him a message and your mama was talking to him, whether she was right, wrong, or indifferent. Don't try to put, words in her mouth. Now, she said, Drew tried to say, well, all of us can bridle our tongue sometimes, and all of us, da-da-da-da. No, your mama said, listen, I came downstairs to wish y'all a happy anniversary, and I came down here to crying, okay? My daughter was crying, because once again, she didn't say this is what I'm saying. Because once again, you done said something or done something to cause my daughter to cry. And I'm saying to you that sometimes you just need to watch your damn mouth. And it's okay to just shut it sometime. Okay? It's okay to shut it sometime. And so, he basically, I felt like he was rude in how he spoke to her mother. And very aggressive. I feel like, and then he was acting like, well, yeah, you're right. All of us do need to bridle our tongue sometime. Yeah, I am interested in hearing this sermon because I want to hear, what you got to say. Because you're right. All of us need to sometime. All of us do. And so, I don't know. Listen, if that was my mama, it would have been a problem. But I feel like that's how they've been talking to each other since COVID. And I'm going to be honest. Her mama probably need to go home. Her mama probably need to go ahead and go home. And because at the end of the day, that's still your husband and that's still your mama, and you ain't gonna never win that. You just never gonna win. You in the middle, and you just never gonna win. Anyway, now later on in the episode, Drew is packing up because they're buying a new house and they're moving into their new home, which is like in the same neighborhood, just right around the corner. And she starts talking about she said, well, you think we could take, I guess they were going to the house for whatever reason. I don't know if they were doing an inspection. I don't know what it was, but she said, do you think we could take some of these boxes with us and leave them there? It is our house. And he was like, well, I have to buy it first. She was like, well, I signed the sales agreement. He was like, oh, that's nothing. And then he proceeded to go through the process of buying a house. And she said, well, you need to explain these things to me, like, I want to be a part of this process too. And he was like, all you need to do, I have my job, you have your job, and basically all you need to do is pack the house up. Don't worry about the rest of it. And she was like, well, what you mean don't worry about the rest of it? She was like, it's our house. He was like, my house? She was like, our house. Like, we are buying this house. He was like, he said, well, how about this? How about I write the steps down on a piece of paper for you so you can follow along? And I felt like that was so derogatory. I feel like that was so rude. The way he said it, like she's not smart enough to understand if he would explain it to her. Like, the reality is, the first time you buy a house, if somebody doesn't explain it to you, there are a lot of moving parts. No matter how much money you have, no matter if it's a brand new house versus a used, not a used house, a pre-owned, whether, like, there's a whole process to buying a house. And when you're a first time, she said it's the first time she's ever purchased a home. So when you're a first time home buyer, there are a lot of things you don't know. And I don't think it was too much for her to ask her husband, can you walk, I want to be a part of the process. She was like, I want to be a bigger part of the process than just packing up my stuff. And he is really talking to her like she is not smart enough to pick up on it. Then they're on their way to the house. And like I said, if they weren't taking stuff to the house, then I have no idea why they were going to the house, because unless it was the inspection, I don't know why you're there. I mean, you've already looked at the house. You've already put an offer down on the house. Like, I guess y'all are just waiting to go to closing shit. I don't know. But on the way there, she said that she found a therapist. And, was he open to going or whether he was ready to go. And she was like, yeah, but, he said, yeah, but I don't want you to feel like, but he's like, oh, so you done already tainted her against me. You done already told her your side, so now she's biased against me. And she was like, no, all I did was find the therapist. I ain't told her nothing. I talked to her about setting up an appointment. Like, can't you just say thank you? Can't you just be happy that we set up an appointment? Like, what is wrong? Why does everything have to be an argument? Why does everything have to be so combative? And he was like, well, no, yeah, you're right. We do need to go to therapy because we got some things we need to talk about. You're right. We need to go to therapy. Girl, I don't know what she doing. I don't know why she did. I don't know why she doing it. And I don't know why she felt like it was a good idea to go on a show that's going to show us all of this. But, girl, anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm sorry. Last thing that went down, Cynthia went to go visit the venue of where she wants to have her party. Here's the reality of the situation. Cynthia wants to have the party that she has envisioned no matter what is going on. No matter the fact that we are in the middle of COVID. No matter the fact that it may not be the best idea. It may not be the safest. And again, we already know what ended up happening with Kenya's wedding. With Cynthia's wedding. But the venue was beautiful. It looks like it's a very beautiful facility. And Mike liked the facility. And Mallory came as well to see it. But Mike's conversation was basically, what precautions are you putting in place for COVID? And they were like, well, we're going to take every precaution that we can. Whatever we can control, we'll control. We're going to have indoor, outdoor, stations and things like that. And he said, okay, well, what if that's not good enough? Like, what if we can't do that? And Mallory was like, well, we could always still go over to Lake Bailey. Baby, Cynthia gave her sister the look of death. Do you hear me? She was like, what you mean Lake Bailey? She was like, and then she said, all I need Mallory to do is just have my back. So you basically just want Mallory to agree with you no matter what. Like, you just want, regardless of whether it makes sense or not, you just want Mallory to be like, okay, yeah, girl, this is what we're going to do. And then Cynthia felt like she was being ganged up on because they weren't agreeing with what she was saying. Here's what Mike's thing is this. I really don't care where we get married. I want to get married on this day. I don't care if it takes place at the courthouse. I don't care if it takes place in the backyard. I don't care if it takes, all I want is to get married. Cynthia wants the big wedding, and she's okay with postponing the wedding if she can get what she wants. So they're sort of at a crossroads. And Mike's thing is, so basically what you're saying is, we may or may not be getting married on 10-10-20. And Cynthia was like, I'm down for 10-10-20. I am. That's what I want. But he's like, yeah, but you don't, but it might not be what you say it's going to be because you want this big wedding. And she was like, well, part of the reason why I want it is for you. Because she said earlier that Mike had never had an actual wedding. Well, this is his third marriage. If he really wanted a wedding, he had 2 chances to do it. He's letting you, he said, no, don't put that on me. I don't care. Don't make this about me. I don't care where we get married. I done already told you that. So don't make this about me. So him and Cynthia, they left the venue, they in the car, and they are still arguing, honey. They are still having this conversation in the car. And at a certain point, Mike was like, listen, all I want to know is, are we getting married on 10-10-20? And Cynthia's answer was, I don't know. He said, okay, that's all I needed to know. And he actually stopped talking. And I feel like the producers must have called her because they weren't talking anymore. They're supposed to be finishing up this scene. So she answered the phone. And when she answered the phone, Mike was like, we're not doing this no more. And she said, yeah, we're done. We're done. And he ended up moving. He took the camera down, honey. Like, I'm done with this. Oh, no. She said what she said. I said what I said. We done. I said, oh. Anyway, that's pretty much all it was. Drew, the only other thing that I did I glossed over was Kenya and Latoya were throwing a lot of shade at Drew. And here's what I predict. Either Kenya and Latoya are going to fall out before this season is over because they are way too in each other's ass right now. Or both of them are going to team up against Drew because they were dogging Drew the hell out. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.